Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Cathy Engelbert laying down the law. We have to get a deal by Monday. She said this on Friday. WNBA CBA talks stretch into day 4. Finally, after what, a year and a half, again, they opted out in October of 2024. They are finally sitting down face to face and having extensive conversations and had, I don't know, it's like double-digit proposals that have gone back and forth between the players union and the league in the last few days, where we had what, maybe 5 or 6 exchanges in a year and a half before that. And now we have Cathy saying again, once we've blown past the March 10th deadline, that, oh, yeah, now it is Monday. We've got to get something done by then. She said, I've never been a betting woman in my life, and I'm not going to start now. But we have to get a deal by Monday, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert told reporters outside the meeting Friday. I should say we have to get it done without disrupting some part of the fact that we've got to run this two-team expansion draft. We have to get the expansion going. We have to get free agency going. We got to get to the college draft, which is now a month away. They have to get teams in for their training camp. They have to have their preseason games, right? There's a lot that has to go on between now and the first official game of the WNBA season, more so than usual. That's another part of the problem, right? We keep talking about free agency. In a typical scenario, that might be able to be handled in a shortened period of time, right? Typically, we don't have an expansion draft. We certainly don't have two teams with an expansion draft. And going back to the free agency really quick, we normally don't have 90% of the league being free agents. It is a completely like everything is coming together all at once in the same. And I realize a lot of the free agency has to do with the CBA, but that doesn't change the fact that it makes things that much more of a nightmare for the teams, where having a shortened free agency period is going to be really, really interesting and could cause a lot of problems. Because again, and I've mentioned this before, there's going to be a lot of trust maybe that is going to be necessary, because, players are going to want to know who is on the team that I'm signing to go play for this coming season, or maybe a multi-year deal, right? That'll be another thing that's interesting. Will there be a lot of one-year deals from players because they're like, well, I'm not completely sure where it is I'm going to play in terms of what the roster is going to look like. So are you going to have teams who be like, hey, we've got so and so is going to sign here with us. They told us, but it's on the condition that you sign here with us. And then what does that also do to what the offers look like in terms of the salaries? Absolutely wild what is going to be going on with this. Asked whether a deal will be reached by Monday, Engelbert said, Cathy Engelbert's opinion, yes. I don't know if that's a typo or Cathy actually referred to herself in the third person, because I couldn't find video of it. I hope she didn't refer to herself in the third person. But anyway, first preseason game slated for April 25, which of course involves Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever against the New York Liberty and expansion team. They're new, so of course they're popular, and that is the Golden State Valkyries. We have a fairly short preseason. We have preseason games scheduled on April 25th. That's what I first worry about. Those are some great games. Both sides return to the bargaining table 10 a.m. Friday after a nearly 16-hour session that began mid-morning on Thursday and stretched into dawn on Friday. In total, the sides have spent more than 40 hours at the table since Tuesday. Engelbert emphasized that both sides are working diligently to get a deal done as soon as possible. But there are a lot of items that are still working through. Yeah, because there's all those other little things too. It's not just, the big stuff, salary cap and revenue share, but those aren't it. There's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into these types of agreements. Movement is still the word. WNBPA Executive Director Terry Carmichael Jackson, who I think is doing a terrible job in representing the players. As long as movement keeps us going in a forward direction, then I think we're good. Well, I don't know what she means by that, and I always wonder what she means by that from everything else I've heard, is that means the league keeps making concessions. And by the way, remember in a few videos when I've talked about this and talked about the CBA and say, hey, where's Nafisa? She finally, just before 8 p.m. Friday, vice President Nafisa Collier, owner of rival competitor league Unrivaled, arrived on site for the first time in this week's session. That should tell you everything you need to know if you are a player. Nafisa Collier is not interested in what is best for you. She is not interested in what is best for you. She is interested in what is best for Nafisa Collier, and Nafisa Collier's future is tied to Unrivaled, not the WNBA. The biggest hurdle has been revenue share. Of course, that's a huge sticking point. The continued conversations have helped us kind of chip away at what the concerns are for both sides and how we meet them, how we address them, Jackson said. Now, I don't know if it is here, right? We've got 15% of gross revenues, what the WNBA offered. I mean, people are adjusting it to make it seem like that. It's kind of a starting point because it's actually 70% of net revenue. The union started seeking 40% share of gross revenue, which is insane from a league that doesn't make any money. So that is going to be a big thing as well. Now, two of the big issues for me. Let me see if it has. I can't find it in an article. I did see it somewhere where basically, wait, the pace is definitely sped up a bit. The league honestly has looked to show us what urgency looks like for them. We've known what it looks like for us. She also said, yeah, see, it's not in here, but this is what's really interesting about what Cathy Engelbert said. From other things I've seen from players, from Jackson herself, they did not buy the March 10th deadline. Okay. So will they buy Monday? Which causes a lot of problems because if Cathy is actually putting her foot down and saying, yeah, Monday, we don't have a deal by Monday, we're axing something. Maybe we're axing the first preseason games, right? Stuff slowly starts coming off of the calendar. If we Monday comes and goes, and we haven't lost anything as far as the league goes, then you're creating a real nightmare because you've got a bunch of players who think you're full of it, Cathy Engelbert, and all they're doing, and we'll get to it here. Before I even go further, let me get into some things Jackson said again. I think the league and particularly the commissioner team have heard that transformational remains the goal. Ridiculous goal, also very vague. As long as movement keeps us going in a forward direction, I think we're good. Jackson reiterated Friday that a system tied to revenue in a meaningful way remains a priority for the players. I think the continued conversation have helped us chip away at what the concerns are for both sides and how we meet them, how we address them. So here's the big issue for me that what the hell does transformational mean, right? And also going back to what I said about if the players don't believe that Cathy is serious, if this is not a hard deadline, they're just going to continue doing what they're doing. And for me, and the way everything that's been said in the offseason, the way Jackson is approaching it in terms of the wording they're using, they basically feel like the longer they go, the more likely they're going to get the league to move in their direction. Because of course you have the media activists, the four that are there hanging out, acting like they're covering a war on the front line or something, when they're just hanging out in a nice hotel. Uh, but that's a conversation for another day. But shout out to Venom, who has also been trying to cover this, so everyone really appreciates that. But now, see, I completely lost my train of thought. This is what digressions do to you. But what I think needs to happen is if Monday comes and goes, Cathy has to either come out and just say, "Hey, we're losing the first set of preseason games. We're moving things back a week," or really what they need to do, the WNBA needs to lock out the players. Say, you know what? Enough is enough. We're shutting it down. Everything is gone. You want to keep negotiating? We'll keep negotiating. But as of now, we're locking you out. We've had enough. We've moved tremendously toward what the players want. We can't move any further. We either are having a deal or we're locking you out because guess what? The owners are going to survive just fine. The players are not. You all keep talking about revenue share. There's nothing to share if there is no revenue, and there is no revenue if there is no season, and there's no season if you do not sign a CBA. Again, forget transformational. Take really good deal, much better than the last one, and move forward from there and show us, show everyone, show advertisers that you actually can sustain ratings without Caitlin Clark because you have no proof of that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking this out. Smash the like button, subscribe. You know the drill. I will talk to you later.